Our last speaker for the afternoon is Paul Schuette from the FDA. Paul, take it away.
Thank you very much. I don't have slides, unfortunately, but I will share some documents. So as we think about what's actually happened over the last 2 days, I think one of the key things that I take away from it is this emphasis not just on use of R as a statistics package, but on the key and vital point of communication. So, Balder Magnuson and Michael Rimler very much touched on this with their particular talks. The other aspect that we need to consider is validation. We need to know that the software does what it's supposed to do, and kudos to Andy Nichols for his work in this area. The next question is, can we use R for regulatory submissions? And let me put in my dad joke of the day, and let's see if I get a reaction. Why not? We're incrementally moving in this direction where we can actually utilize R to actually make the necessary regulatory submission. We're also seeing some folks adopting a bilingual capability. So it may not be necessary to use one particular statistical programming language for everything. So let me do a screen share for my entire screen. Let's do share. Let's see. Let's try this.
All right, we can see your screen. Yep, okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
So Andy pointed out that this seems to be a mandatory part of most R talks these days. Let me go along with this. This is actually one that I worked with colleagues at FDA. One of the things you'll notice with this statistical software clarifying statement, though, is no actual statistics package is mentioned. As federal employees, we're not supposed to actually share, or endorse a particular product. So this is a statement not that R is okay, but that FDA is software agnostic. So one of the things that's upended our lives right now is the coronavirus. One of the things I thought we could perhaps do is to share some of the initiatives, though, that are being done and where R fits in with some of that. So this is the Coronavirus Treatment Acceleration Program, or CTAP. So this is actually, in some ways, a therapeutic companion that goes with some of the vaccine efforts. This is perhaps one of the areas that we can look at. That's the CTAP dashboard. And we have, according to this, as of, let's see. Let me see if the date is given here. As of September 30th, we had 550 drug development programs in planning stages, 350 trials is kind of not a complete trial, but more at the IND level stage between CEDAR and CBER. We have 5 treatments, COVID-19 treatments, that are authorized for emergency use. And what we mean here by 0 treatments approved means more of the traditional NDA BLA world. So as you can see, there's a lot in the pipeline. R is being used in conjunction with other tools to go from this 350 plus to try to increase this number of COVID-19 treatments. And then this gives us a little bit about the breakdown of the types of treatments being studied, and various combinations, and then there's definitions. So if you want to find this, type in CTAP and FDA into Google, and this will lead you to this page. R and biostatisticians are being asked to take on more than ever. One area that we are being asked to weigh in on, unusually, is drug shortages. This is an area that most of us are not quite as familiar with. You can look at this yourself. This is the public-facing page. So there are dashboards and other attempts to try to figure out how do we look at, identify, and mitigate shortages. And unfortunately, pretty much everything that's being used for COVID treatment is in demand and has some sort of shortage going on. One thing that you don't think of biostatisticians weighing in on are over-the-counter treatments, OTC. Hand sanitizers turn out to be an issue. So this year we've seen unprecedented, now that we have to wash our hands regularly, we've seen unprecedented demand for hand sanitizers. Many groups have sort of jumped into this bandwagon and started small-scale manufacturing. There's a whole list of things about what to do and what not to do here. If you go down to the very bottom of this page on hand sanitizers, there's something like 202 different products now whose use has been banned by FDA. And I'll go ahead and mention this. It's not actually an area that we regulate at CEDAR, but our colleagues at CDRH now regulate these things, face masks, which we all encourage you to wear when you go out in public. So that provides a very quick overview. I think we're making lots of progress. I think we're going to be seeing our regulatory submissions in the not too distant future. And let's see, let me stop sharing. On that note, I wanted to make my remarks very brief. Let me ask if there are any questions from the audience. And do you see any, Melvin?
No, I don't see any
Okay.
right now, but I just want to comment before the next question, if one comes in, that as usual, Paul, thank you always for always providing these regulatory perspectives, at different conferences, that people are always concerned about the use of R. And I always find your talks very, very interesting about here's the position that the agency is taking, and we appreciate that a lot.
Thank you. And we look forward to the first fully R regulatory submission.
Right, fantastic.